Hey, welcome back to the 5-Minute Youth Ministry Coach. I'm your host, Jay Holland. Today we're going to talk about one of those subjects that some of you guys have never experienced, and some of you, it's a chronic struggle depending on your small group. That is, what do you do when your group just doesn't talk? This is episode 9 in the Successful Small Group series and 19 overall. Whether you've got a group that's always quiet or usually a chatty crew that's suddenly flat, let's talk about how to respond and how to keep your group healthy. First off, I just want to encourage you, don't panic. This is normal, especially earlier in the year or with younger or newer students. Quiet moments are totally normal. It doesn't mean that you failed, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your students aren't listening or not enjoying it. Silence doesn't equal apathy. Sometimes it just means that students aren't yet comfortable and they're still learning how to express what they're thinking spiritually. So be patient. Consistency and kindness will build safety, and safety builds conversations. But also, sometimes you need to ask better questions. Now, we give you small group questions every week, and your other youth groups might do that as well. And sometimes, you got to think, when we are putting together a question for small group, it's a generalized hypothetical question for a potential 6th grade boy or 12th grade girl. They don't all hit. So sometimes the issue isn't the group, it's the question. So you want to avoid yes, no, or Jesus answer questions. Instead, you might try things like, hey, what stood out to you? Or was anything confusing to you or convicting? Have you ever experienced something like that? Or how would you explain this passage to a friend? Or somebody give me like a 1 minute, or not 1 minute, like a 1 or 2 sentence summary of what tonight's lesson was about. If somebody gives a 1-word answer, don't just move on, follow up with it. Can you say more about that? Or why do you think that that's important? Remember, your questions are tools for opening their hearts, not just check boxes. And so it's not just a matter of getting through the questions on the list. You want to explore what's actually happening and what they're processing. Also, sometimes you need to wait out the silence. Here's a pro move. Ask your question and then wait. I personally love this. I kind of make a game out of it sometimes. Give it 5 seconds or 10 seconds or more. That might feel awkward to you, and it might feel awkward to the kids in the group at first, but it might be just what your students need to think, formulate a response, and then actually have the courage to speak. So sometimes what I'll do is, if I ask a question and I don't get a response, I'll say, okay, let me repeat the question again, and then we're just going to sit until somebody's able to respond. So do that. Don't rush to fill the silence. Let there be a pause. Or if they're super silent, you might say, okay, I've asked the question. Maybe we're not getting it. Somebody else ask it in a different way and see if we can understand the question. You also want to lower the bar for participation. If the group is stuck, make it easier to engage. So some different things you might try. If they're big and quiet and you see that these are just shy kids that are intimidated and talking in large groups, break up into pairs to discuss a question before you share it with a group. Sometimes kids will do that. They'll talk one-on-one when they won't talk when there's 4 or 5 people in the room. Use scales, okay? You could be like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how connected do you feel with God this week? And you can just have people hold up their hands or numbers. And then, oh, I'm curious. So that's great. Like, you've got a pretty high one. What is it this year? Oh, you feel like you're a 1. Can you explain why? Letting students vote by raising hands or giving thumbs up, thumbs down statements. This is a possibility as well. Remember, small, lower pressure interactions build confidence for deeper ones later. And then you want to affirm every attempt. When someone does speak up, affirm them. Even if their answer isn't perfect, thank them for engaging. Say things like, hey, that's a great thought, or man, thanks so much for being honest, or hey, I really appreciate you sharing that. These things build encouragement, they build confidence, and they allow other people to take a risk in sharing as well, because they're going to expect affirmation when they share. So bonus, what do you do if a normally talkative group is suddenly flat? And this happens sometimes. Sometimes you got a group that most of the time they're together. It's hard to get them to be quiet. It's hard to get them to not talk over each other. And then sometimes they just feel off. And so remember, behavior should make us curious. So first you want to pause and consider, is something else going on? You might try asking, hey, is there anything going on that we need to talk about tonight, even if it's not a part of the lesson? You might be surprised at what comes out when you give students permission to go off script. Sometimes it might even be a conflict within your group that's shutting everyone down. It's okay if you don't make it through your planned questions. The real win is helping your students open up, process, and grow. Some of your very best group nights are the ones that don't follow the script at all. And not only is that okay, again, that is a huge win. So just finally, let me encourage you, don't judge the health of your group by how much noise they make. Judge it by how safe it is, how your students feel seen and feel heard. Over time, even the quietest group will ultimately become a space for deep conversations. If you stay consistent, ask great questions, and give them room to grow. So this week, lead with patience, not panic. If your group goes quiet, don't rush, don't force in, don't give up. Ask better questions, give more space, and be ready to pivot if the group needs something different tonight. Sometimes discipleship looks like listening, not leading. Hey, I'm Jay Holland. This has been your 5-Minute Youth Ministry Coach. Remember, in addition to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, you can find each of these episodes at youthministry.coach. That's www.youthministry.coach. I put them all there in YouTube and podcast form and blog form to help you in every way possible. And if it's helpful for you, please share it with somebody else. It'll be helpful with them. Spread it around to other youth groups, youth pastors, and volunteers that you know need the help. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.